We have number 4, amend fund policy balance resolution 7509. Maggie, is it you or is that going to be Adam?
That will be me.
Okay.
So I can go ahead. So tonight, staff is bringing forward a fund balancing amendment. The GFOA recommends at least 2 months of general fund balance reserve. And the Office of the State Auditors recommends at least a 5 months general fund balance reserve, or 35 to 50% of general fund balance reserve. So tonight, staff is recommending a policy amendment to reduce the unassigned fund balance reserve policy to the 40% threshold. We did look at other cities around the area. A number of other cities are at 40%. So tonight, per council directive, staff is recommending the fund balance policy to be amended to reduce the minimum unassigned general fund balance to 40% of the fund's annual operating budget. Any questions with this?
Oh, I know Councilmember Benson had pulled that up. So
I do, yeah, thanks. I don't have questions because you answered them when I emailed you earlier today, but I just wanted to separate this from the consent because we were briefed on this, recently at a work session and discussed this matter, and I listened to everything that was said, and we really haven't discussed it since. And since that time, and in doing a little bit more looking into this, this is not something that I feel that I want to support, and there's a few reasons for that. Because we're sitting at about 36% of our reserves right now, which is not ideal. It's not real healthy, and this is the lowest we've been historically in terms of those reserves. And the question I asked of Maggie earlier this morning was essentially what the last 10 years of reserves has looked like with this fund balance. And starting in 2014, it was sitting at about 51%. 2015, it was 54.9. In 2016, it was 55.1%. 2017, it was 54.1. 2018, 50.6. 2019, 46.9. 2020, 48.8. 2021, 46.3. 2022, 47.5. And then 2023, 35.7. So my reservation here is simply that we can pass a resolution to lower the bar, but I don't think that's really in the best interest of the city long-term, even if other cities have done that. And the reason is because we could keep more reserves by spending less, and that would be my philosophy around fiscal management, rather than reducing the amount, the minimum that we're required to have in this general fund. That's not something that I support because we'd essentially need, 1.18 million next year to get back up to that reserve of 45% from where we are now at 36. And our budget for 2025 includes a lot of expenses. So I'm not in favor of it, which is why I wanted to pull it and make my points. And I'm going to see if I have anything else that I wanted to add in there. I just think it's essentially like lowering the bar, and I think it's not necessary to do. I think we could keep these reserves up. We don't need to pass a resolution to lower that if we're able to look at reducing spending. So those are just my points, and that's my position and why I pulled it off consent.
All right, well, with the history on this, because I've been here for a long time, is when we had reserves and stuff before Maggie and when Ron was here and all that kind of stuff as well, but we always used to, when it was above the 50%, which we knew was kind of above average, that we would take all those extra dollars and we'd put them in the general budget. And best practices as we're refining our budget, which we've been doing over the last 10 years under my leadership, making sure where the dollars are best spent and best put. And so when we're taking zero roads budget up to $1 million and zero park budgets and all the things like that, our capital improvement plans, you look at all the different funds and balances you have of what is best practices, what's normal, what's low, what's high, and you find the right medium that makes sense to put your budget in place effectively. And by doing this, that's what we're doing. We're still way above the average of what they're saying is needed, and so it's kind of a non-issue from that standpoint. In terms of spending less, I'd love to see an issue of where you'd like to spend less. And I'd love to have a conversation about that, because spending less is an easy thing to say, but it'd be good to see then where would you think spending less you'd like to do that.
Yeah.
So it'd be a good conversation to have sometimes.
We can, and I'm prepared to do that when we talk about the 2025 budget in a little bit, but I just want to make my points on the reserve and why I don't support it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I know you don't support putting our budget in the best place to make sure everything is funded correctly when we do have reserves, and it's like I said, it's an easy thing to just talk about spending less, but spending less means less roads, less water and sewer infrastructure, less parks, less staff. So if you've got good ideas, I'd love to hear them, because it'd be a great conversation to have. So with that, I would make a motion to accept the, I gotta find it here.
I can make a
Okay.
motion to
Okay.
approve Resolution 7509, amending the fund balance policy.
Councilmember Johnson,
I'll second it.
Councilmember Crosby, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.